Hi, I'm Harjap Singh from Zonato.com, and I have a real special treat for you here today. If I asked you to guess where we are right now, you might guess a few things. What you probably won't guess is that we're standing in front of one of the most successful and loved small businesses in Milton, Ontario. We're here today at the Escarpment Tea Room, and we're gonna find out how the owner, Edwina, turned this lean operation into a massive success.
All I did was word of mouth and Facebook and sending pictures out, and it just grew and grew. Like this weekend we have two private functions, but I've already had about 15 calls wanting people wanting reservations for this weekend, and I've had to turn them away. But I am number 6 best restaurant in Milton out of 220.
Tens of thousands of people have walked through these doors for a British high tea experience, and they've walked out raving.
People are coming from Niagara Falls, they're coming from Richmond Hill, they're coming from Toronto.
And for the business savvy people among you, be sure to stay tuned for what might be the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's head on inside. And I think that the whole Downton Abbey craze has definitely affected it.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had events where people actually go out and rent costumes to come to some of my events. Yeah.
Really get the feel of things.
Yeah,
Okay.
But here comes the scones. So the scones I learnt to make when I was at school
Okay.
many years ago in the UK, and they're 10 minutes to make and 10 minutes to bake.
What would you say is the best part of running this tea room? So, Edwina, tell us a little bit about the financials. So, how much is a group of customers paying to be here, and how much might it cost for you to actually serve them?
Open at 12. I do a bit of baking in the morning, and I'm out of here at 5 o'clock.
Well, Edwina, thank you so much for having us here today. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the lovely tea. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the story behind the Escarpment Tea Room? How did this come about?
Well, it's a long story, and I know you don't have a lot of time. It all started when I was not employed. And I knew I was a little bit too young to retire, and I needed something to do. So I enjoyed the job that I had previously. I was a social director in a very upscale retirement residence, and I was the social director. So I would do all the social things, which would be, one of the things would be tea time. So we introduced a tea time, and it became very popular, and a lot of the residents' family members would come to me and say, I have this box of teacups. Don't tell Mom I'm giving them to you because I don't want them. So this is how a lot of my stuff grew. And so we would have tea parties, and the guys would enjoy it, and they'd be very social, and it was really good for some of the residents that had got the start of Alzheimer's, because it was a nice social event. It wasn't over the top. So that's how it really started. There's a friend that wanted me to do some teas at a restaurant for a friend because his business wasn't doing well. So I started doing tea room there, and I would pay the owner of the restaurant $7 per seat. So I started very small, and it became so popular that I literally almost took over the restaurant.
Wow.
But anyway, the guy that owned it, he did sell, so I had to find somewhere else. And there was nowhere. Everything was either too expensive, not enough parking. It just didn't work. And I knew I needed somewhere with parking because of my big events I would have, like bridal showers and baby showers, and I would often do fundraisers too. So I did eventually find this place, because what I'd done was I'd taken a deposit for a big bridal shower, and I didn't have anywhere to hold it.
I see.
So I had to find somewhere really quickly. And I knew this lovely place existed and it was empty. So I approached them and they said, we'll give you a trial, you know. And so I cleaned it all up. I had this event in 7 days. So I had to clean this place up, and there we go. We had a bridal tea party in 7 days. So we just staged everything, and it just, 8 years ago, that's how it started.
And at the time, you probably had no idea that it would turn into your main thing.
No.
Yeah.
And it was pretty empty. I didn't have as much stuff as I have now. It did look pretty empty, but it still was really lovely. And that's how it started. I did no advertising. I didn't have, all I did was word of mouth and Facebook and sending pictures out, and it just grew and grew.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's made it so special over the years, and how people continue to fall in love with the tea room? What's the secret sauce?
I think it's because they get that little bit of special attention when they come, and they like to talk about their travels to the UK and around the world, and they like to know where I'm from because they can never detect what accent I have. So they just love that little bit of special attention that everybody gets, and especially we have a vast age group. It's not just old people that want to come for tea. We have lots of young people. We have little girls and little boys tea parties when they're like 5, 6 years old. Wow. I mean, yeah. People bring their 1-year-old here for a tea just for the experience. Not that they would remember it, but I accommodate all that, and that's one of the reasons they do come back. And also, they come, you know, people that have their parties here, their bridal parties, 30 people, you know, at least 5 or 6 of them are going to come back with their friends.
And then it's just a network.
And it just snowballs. It just snowballs. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's often I have to turn people away because it is right now. You know, I can only do reservation only, which is a godsend, really. And like this weekend, we have 2 private functions, but I've already had about 15 calls wanting people wanting reservations for this weekend, and I've had to turn them away.
Wow. Yeah. To think that hosting that one bridal shower all those years ago and now turning people away, it's magical. And I feel like that individual attention that every customer gets is probably what's gotten you all the way here.
Yeah. And it doesn't take that much time.
Yeah, and that bleeds beautifully into my next question. There's some really intricate little goodies you put out for each customer. Tell us about that process. How much?
So one of them is the bell. Everybody has a bell at their table, and they're pretty shocked that they can ring the bell. And I do say to them, you have a bell, so if you need anything like your teapot refilled or more milk, please ring the bell, but don't ring it too often. And of course, some people are a bit shocked because they don't realize I'm joking.
Yeah.
So adding the humor to tea time is really important. And we go through showing people that maybe don't know how to cut a scone or eat a scone, but not make them feel uncomfortable.
I see.
And that we do use loose leaf tea, and that we need tea strainers. And often they've never seen a tea strainer, or not a tea strainer like my tea strainers. And so there's little things like that really, and they love the ambiance of the white tablecloths, the no rush. When it's a quiet day, people can sit here for 3 to 4 hours. We've had ladies and gents come and sit in the corner and read a book for 2 hours and have tea on their own.
Yeah.
So
I could see it could really be a meditation, just getting away from the hustle and bustle outside. You know, thinking back to simpler times. I really could see that being a great getaway for people. So is this a lot of work to prepare for a customer? Because there's a lot of these nice desserts and snacks and sandwiches, and they look really intricate. Walk us through a little bit about the kind of work that goes into preparing that.
Well, just the fillings. I've kept everything simple. I've done things that have not worked, and that's, happens in everything that you do, and we just don't go back to that. I used canned salmon when I started, and I used smoked salmon.
Okay.
So many people don't like smoked salmon, and then the canned salmon just didn't hit the target. So we do it a nice pink steamed salmon now, poached salmon, and it's lovely.
Okay.
And it's easy. I can do it in I can make it in the microwave if I have to. I just steam it in the microwave, and just add my little spices, which I'm not going to share with you at this moment.
I see. Okay, that's completely okay.
But it can be made in 10 minutes. Egg salad, boil an egg, add your little spices, which I'm not going to share with you right now. And then we've got cucumber and cream cheese.
I should ask, are these secret recipes included in the business deal?
Absolutely, for the right person.
Okay.
A cucumber and cream cheese. A 3-year-old can make a cucumber and cream cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay, the whole thing is getting those crusts cut off using the correct knife and cutting it. There's a certain way of cutting it. So you don't need, and you don't want everything oozing out of your sandwich. So you don't need to use a lot of fillings for your sandwiches. And you can cut them in different ways.
Okay.
And you can buy the flat bread to make the rolls, and you just add a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so the plating actually looks very attractive, but you haven't really done anything too spectacular. You've just added different shapes, brown and white bread. You could use pumpernickel bread, and the little roly-poly ones are really nice. And we do a lovely vegetarian mini wrap that's filled with asparagus, cream cheese and lettuce. And I'm not going to tell you what else, because the rest is a secret. But for the right person, they will have all the recipes. And I will come along and show you how to do it.
That's a great point you make, because I think someone like myself, I like the prospect of running a business like this, and I see the opportunity. I've never made a scone in my life. So walk us through that. What kind of training comes with that?
Icing on the cake is because I don't serve my tea, everything on one plate. In many places you get your 3-tier plate, and you get your sweets on the top and your savories on the bottom. We do 2 servings. We serve our savories first, and then when the guests are almost finished, we bring in the plate with all the desserts on. So, and when they see, because they think they're not going to get their scones, but here comes the scones. So the scones I learnt to make when I was at school. Many years ago in the UK, and they're 10 minutes to make and 10 minutes to bake. Wow. So that's it.
And you could take someone like myself and turn them into a scone master?
Well, I hope we can do that one day. Yeah.
Okay.
And very few ingredients, and we can make them for vegan. We can make them gluten-free. So there's lots of different ways you can, and I do have to have a lot of gluten-free on hand, because a lot of people do request gluten-free.
So you're already set up to take care of the different dietary restrictions?
Yeah, but everything's made fresh every day. My scones are the only scones that you'll get that are a day old are the ones where you get on your savoury plate with the brie, because they're actually better with the day old scones.
They're like aged. I see. Okay, love it. So, Edwina, tell us a little bit about the financials. So, how much is a group of customers paying to be here, and how much might it cost for you to actually serve them?
Say we have a party of 25 ladies and gents coming in for a special event. It might be a bridal shower or whatever. The cost for that per person is $40 per person, plus tax, plus gratuitories, and it's usually 15% gratuitory.
Okay.
So then if you do the math, okay, so if you do the math, that's $40 times 30, right? And then there's no cost for the rental of the facilities. They get 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I usually have to bring in 2 helpers for 30 people, including myself.
Okay.
And they get table service. They that's it. They're pretty well here and gone. And if you do the math on $40 times 30 people,
Yeah.
plus your gratuitories, for 2 hours, you've made quite a good thing there.
Yeah.
And when people book, I've already got a booking for January. I send them an invoice. I send them the menu, and once they've decided that's the day that they want, and I can give it to them, I get a 50% deposit.
I see.
So, and then there is, if they do by any chance have to cancel, I keep 50% of their deposit and return the other 50%.
Okay, I see that.
So
that's fair.
that's the most simplest way I can do it. If it's just a table of 4 people, it's exactly the same menu, it's just a little bit less because I don't need the staff. I don't, there's not that much prep. So right now it's $32 per person, plus tax and gratuitories.
Okay.
And often I do get a 20% gratuitory, no questions asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think obviously for most restaurants, for most businesses that operate like this, one of the biggest costs outside of labor is rent. So let's talk a little bit about the space. What do you have access to? What kind of a relationship exists with the landlord? What are the resources? What's the flexibility?
It's a little bit different than just renting a little restaurant on the main street. This is a lot different. I am on this side of the road. I'm in the escarpment, so there are some rules within the escarpment.
Okay.
This particular property is a not-for-profit, but they can do rentals, and I'm under the umbrella of a rental.
Okay.
So that's how it works for me.
Okay.
And the rent is, they basically want, because it's run by a board of directors and they're not here to make lots and lots of money, they basically want somebody on the property that something's going on, it's for security, and they get enough rent from me to pay some of their big bills, which would be hydro, gas, snow removal. So, I mean, I'm not sure if I can divulge the amount that I do pay a month, but it's, they gave me an incredible break over the COVID period, and there were months and months where I didn't pay anything. They could still come in here and operate and do takeout orders. Included in my rent is the hydro, the gas, snow removal, everything. Some of the repairs, most of the repairs I do have to look after myself. But there's really not a lot to do because it's not really a busy, it's not open like from 7 in the morning till 1 o'clock in the morning. So my little space there, I could be here all that time if I wanted to be. There's no restrictions on time.
Okay.
I do get the use of their commercial kitchen, which is brand new. Again, I have to make arrangements that there's nobody else cooking in there at the same time.
Okay.
So, but I only really need to bake twice a week because I can do my daily baking in my little kitchen that's attached to this space. So,
Okay.
so I only really, if I do things like my quiches and It's really nothing else really big that I do.
Okay.
I can do everything in my little stove in my little kitchen.
Yeah.
So I do get the use of that. Now, if I have a big event, say somebody wants a shower for 60 or 70 people, obviously I can't use this space because this only holds 30 people comfortably. I have 30 chairs. I've done 40 in here, a little bit squishy, but that's okay because people aren't moving around, they're being served at the table.
Makes sense.
But if I do a big function, I can use the banquet hall, which is also brand new, and it's all set out with all kinds of equipment. And there's a bar area too. Not that I do serve alcohol, but it's easy enough to get a license for me personally.
Okay.
But the actual club have their own license.
I see. Okay.
And I can always piggyback onto theirs if I wanted to, but I do prefer not to serve alcohol.
Okay. Fair enough.
So all I would do for a big event is I would pay them $7 per seat. So if I had 70 people, that would be my cost to the club.
Okay.
Okay. And I can use their tables, their chairs, the facility, the kitchen facilities. I have all my own linen, so I don't have to rent anything. I've got chair covers, so I don't have to rent chair covers. And that's pretty well it. I just need probably an extra 2 wait people that are going to wait on the tables. And I can do all my prep down there in the big kitchen and use all the big fridges and the freezers.
Yeah.
So, but obviously I can't do that and do a tea room at the same time. But somebody could, because I'm only me, right? But if there was somebody that wanted to really branch out, they could do a banquet, tea party, and do a party here.
Okay. And I think we were talking about this earlier. So if there's a bridal shower of 25, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're paying $40 plus tax. So if the event is larger and it's taking up the actual banquet, is that still the price?
No.
Okay.
No, they're paying 50.
Okay, so that's up to 50.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're charging 50, you're only paying 7 per chair. So that's a pretty healthy margin per person. Okay.
So all we have to really do then is stage. We take a few odds and bobs down from here, stage everything down there because it's already pretty anyway because you've got that big picture window of the escarpment, and they've got a screen. So if they wanted to put some movies up there if it's a bridal shower, often people want to do a nice video display of the kids when they were growing up, and then so it's there's not a lot to do when you do a banquet, unless it's a fundraiser, which we often do, because then you've got to do things like 50/50s, and you've got to do auctions, and so it is time consuming. Now when we do that, we usually get a group together and we do it as a group. So it would be for Halton Women's Place. Then I would have a group of people that are interested in helping out with Halton Women's Place. So they would so I wouldn't do that on my own, but I would look after the food and the setup and everything else. But the people on our little group would do all the other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
So the business is growing every day. These numbers look fantastic. So why sell?
I really don't want to sell, but I'm 71 years old. I'm getting really tired, and I need a break, and I'm moving out west to my children that live out on Vancouver Island.
Okay.
And this has been planned for a while. So we knew it would, so I've been hanging on, but I know I have to bite the bullet now, but this is such a great place, it's hard to let go. But the right people have to come along.
Absolutely. No, I wish you all the best with that transition. It can't be easy to completely change things up, but I do understand that.
Yeah, because we've already sold our house. I mean, we're on our way. We're going.
I see.
But, this is the only thing that's holding me back now.
Understood. So, switching gears a little bit to growth. So, what are some of the things that, if Edwina, who's much younger, completely tech savvy, were to reapproach this business, what would you do differently? What are some of the opportunities that you would take up?
I would definitely open longer hours,
Okay.
much longer hours. I would also really look into franchising, because I can't accommodate everybody, and people are coming from Niagara Falls, they're coming from Richmond Hill, they're coming from Toronto. I'd like to find somewhere maybe in Burlington or Oakville, because they don't, if you research it, there aren't many tea rooms there. And it would have to be on the same kind of lines. You've got to look at parking. You've got to look at, you don't want a tea room where you're sitting waiting for somebody to come through the door to serve tea. By reservation is the best way to run a tea room. But definitely franchising and going out into the market where people can, there's lots of banquet halls out there where people just rent them and they have their bridal showers and baby showers and baptisms and all the other things, but they don't often do a tea. And that's what people are looking for. They want, I have to turn so many groups away that want high tea. They can go to any banquet hall, but they don't do the high tea.
Yeah, the
So
kind of service.
You've
and
got your set menu, you get your usual, your buffet or whatever, and people are looking beyond that now. They're looking for something that's got a little bit of class to it too. Yeah.
And I think that the whole Downton Abbey craze has definitely fed into it.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had events where people actually go out and rent costumes
Wow.
to come to some of my events. Yeah.
Really get the feel of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other things in terms of technology that you would be doing?
I would definitely have a website, but I never thought it would be so successful that I would need to have because I do need a website now, because I can't, there's things that need to be changed on my Facebook page and TripAdvisor that I don't even have time to go into to change them, like my opening hours, closing hours, the menu, the price. In some places, the price is still $19 per person. If you look at some of the places where
You're online. Yeah.
online. But I am number 6 best restaurant in Milton out of 220.
Wow. That's really fantastic. To pull that off without a website, I can only imagine the potential with just a full force of digital marketing behind it.
Yeah, and I haven't done any of it. It's mostly been word of mouth.
Yeah.
Are you using any of the apps for takeout, like DoorDash, Uber Eats?
Oh.
Just somebody sends me a text or an email, or Facebooks me, or phones me. I get a lot of phone calls. And that's how I do it.
I think that's one of the biggest opportunities that I see for sure. Yeah.
Like just today, I got 5 calls for bookings, and I'm trying to do plate things, and I'm trying to take the calls as well.
Yeah.
So there's got to be an easier way. And of course, I have to find out if people have got food restrictions, like allergies or anything like gluten-free, and so it takes me longer to get all that information when I should really be on the floor or in the kitchen. So I do a lot of that at night time.
I see.
Yeah, which is nice.
Okay.
So I don't have any interruptions. But I do get a lot of calls. My phone is always full.
I love to hear that.
Always full.
Yeah.
So, Edwina, let's switch gears one more time, and now let's talk about the future of this business. So, it's obviously up for sale. A new owner could take it to the next level. But what does that ideal operator and owner of the tea room look like? What kind of strengths do they have? What are their specialties?
Well, the specialties can be, with what I do, can be taught within a week. Okay, there is nothing to it at all. They can add things, they can take things away, they can put their own little spin. They can turn this into a little art gallery as well. It doesn't have to be a tea room, it can be a coffee place too. They can do English breakfasts here. It doesn't have to be English breakfast, but they could do breakfasts here, because I don't open till 12 o'clock. So there's a big gap in there where you've got customers that probably might want to pop in and have a nice coffee and a breakfast.
So right now you're only doing noon until what time?
I'm done by usually 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
So you're only doing noon to 5, and how many days in the week is that?
If I had to, it would be 7 days a week, but I
Okay.
have to say no. I can't do that, and I just can't do it.
So the entire business is currently running on 25 open hours, roughly, in a week, 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unheard of. That's okay.
So whoever was to do it, it doesn't take anybody special. Just somebody that likes people, that can kibitz around a bit, that enjoys trying different things out, and just keeping everything clean as well, and looking after things, keeping a good liaison with the people that lease to me, helping them out a little bit too, which I do.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking ideally it would be somebody that was fresh out of culinary school, that was really ambitious, that likes to bake. You could do great takeout orders for baking as well, and for nice big birthday cakes, fancy cakes. So a baker would be really great. And somebody that might have a partner, male, female, doesn't matter, mom, dad, that might have retired or is not happy in what they're doing, that could do some of the PR work and all the technology stuff. Yeah. Somebody that can do the books. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's actually easy bookkeeping, because it's not like I have one set meal, that's it, one set thing, one set price. So it's really not that hard.
Balancing a whole bunch of things. Yeah. So how would you stay on to set this new owner up for success?
Well, I'm not planning on moving yet, okay? I would stay on as long as they needed me, as long as it wasn't until I'm dropping dead. So, I could do anything from a month to 6 months.
Okay.
And do these people have access to your previous clients?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's reams and reams.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
How much are we talking roughly?
Well, it would all have to be documented properly, and I need somebody that was techie to do that.
Okay.
But I have 7 of these books, and on every page there is a phone number, an email, the person's name, how many they've booked for, etc., etc.
That's got to be thousands of people.
Oh, thousands. So I have 7 of these.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that needs some data input, but after that there's a lot of
that's what I need.
data.
Yeah. Somebody with a bit of technology over. They don't need to be a great cook. They can learn the baking, but it would be nice if it was somebody that was a baker, because it would be nice to walk in here and smell the fresh baking and
What would you say is the best part of running this tea room? And to counter that, what's something that's quite challenging?
The techie side is challenging. I'll go for the good news, bad news thing first. That's really challenging. I am dyslexic, and I find things really, I have to learn differently all my life. I came out of the closet quite a few years ago when I was a businesswoman back in the day. And I learned to surround myself with people that could do things that I couldn't do. So I do have a lot of people that, they're not my employees, I call them my partners. They're not really my partners in business, but they're my partners in running the tea room.
Okay.
And between us all, we have a great time. And that's one of my downfalls, because I have a really hard time doing menus, writing menus, knowing where the commas go, where the full stops go. But when you surround yourself with people that know that, it's healthy, and I go out and do my thing. So that's the downside. The good side is I can open and close whenever I want. I can take 3 weeks off whenever I wish. I have people that could take over, but at this point I haven't done that yet. Open at 12. I do a bit of baking in the morning, and I'm out of here at 5 o'clock.
So this could be if someone chooses to keep it this way, this could be a real lifestyle kind of business for them.
Oh yeah, they could be doing all kinds of things. Yeah, they could open till midnight. They can bake here on the night. They don't have to bake here in the morning. They could turn it into a curiosity shop, as well as a tea room, and sell antiques.
And I want to thank you for sitting down with us today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this business goes into the right hands, because there's a lot that can be done with it.
I do too, and this is it is a perfect spot, and there's great potential for the traffic that's happening in Milton, and the type of people that want to come for tea. As I say, it's not just the old people that want to come and have a cup of tea. A lot of young people, teenagers, they want to dress up. They want to wear all their gear and come and look fancy and have pictures taken. And that's another thing, photo opportunities here. Everybody wants to have a picture taken. They don't want to go away unless they've had their picture taken. So I'm trying to do the tea room, serve, and take pictures. So it would be lovely for two people that have the same interest to run the tea room.
I think, like I said before, a great opportunity for the right person. And I hope that we find that person real quick. But thank you so much once again, Edwina. I wish you all the best with your time out west. And I hope you have a great life ahead. The Escarpment Tea Room is listed for sale exclusively on Zonato.com. So if you're interested in getting more details or getting in touch, be sure to head on over to find this business and hundreds of other businesses that are for sale in Canada right now that you might not find anywhere else. If you like this video, be sure to hit subscribe, and we're going to see you in the next one.